I keep saying it and saying it and saying it, hoping that there's something that's going to come up that says, you know, Jay Snip, you got it wrong. Your thoughts on what they're going to do, you were wrong. And nothing actually happened. And that's in relation to the city of Chicago. And I keep explaining why I believe the elite, the bankster club, the rulers of the damn world, are going to attack Chicago, blaming it on ISIS. I've said this in the past. I've said it fairly recently. I've said it very recently, and I'm saying it again today. And I've got more news, which is why I hate to say this, that is pointing in the right direction for me to be correct on this. And I don't like what I'm seeing and hearing. Let me start with the new news on why Chicago, as I said, home of the CME Group, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which does not have the gold and silver they claim, could really use an attack to destroy that whole system so that you can never request to see or even get the gold and silver, and then the whole paper market goes up in smoke, so to speak. Paper market on the commodities market, talking about futures contracts. That is what the club does over and over again. They destroy it, they blow it up, they set it on fire. It's the way it always is. Which is why I thought, where would the next target be? They already hit 9/11, New York City on 9/11, 2001. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange is not in New York City, it's in Chicago. So is the Sears Tower, another iconic building. So I'm just going to give you one thing that's maybe nothing. Excuse me. But I did catch this the other day. Someone emailed me this too, and I saw that it was what I'd already seen. But ABC 7 Eyewitness News from Chicago, of course. ABC 7, for whatever reason, just like number 7 News and the Virginia shooting on live people dead, you know, lady, which was a complete hoax. 7 News was there too. Isn't that interesting? Again, as number 7 has been in our faces a lot recently. However, let's go with this. Oh, this is even better. Talking about the occult. Let me get a screen grab of this. Let me get a screen grab of this. I just noticed this. How about that? Let's take a little look at that. 11/11, the twin pillars, right? 11/11, 9/11, etc. That 11/11 number, oh, talk about a cult. And then we have 7 News, 11/11. If that's not a coincidence. Anyways, this particular story, again, is the one that I'm thinking, well, maybe this means nothing. It's just an accident. But after seeing that at 11:11 a.m. on Channel 7 News, couple alarm bells going off. 5 injured after fire breaks out on 50th floor of Hancock Center. Fairly large building. It was a fiery scare on the Magnificent Mile, with flames busting through the side of the Hancock Center, drawing a large response from firefighters Saturday, or yesterday, afternoon. The fire broke out just a few hours before the Magnificent Mile Lights Festival was set to begin on Michigan Avenue. Fire officials said it took only about a half hour to put the flames out, and while the homeowner on the 50th floor remained unharmed, her unit was completely gutted by flames. Again, this may be nothing, but that 11/11 in your face and by Channel 7 News, just like the hoax shooting in Virginia, 7, where they had the thing facing you the whole time, make sure you've seen that 7. The guy comes up and shoots, and then you can, if you pause it or just edit the video and take out the frames, you know, each individual frame, when the bullet shoots out, you know, there's a blast, a fiery blast, except on the left side, it's kind of a circular pattern. The left side has got a perfectly straight line going down, cutting off part of the blast. Now, how does that happen in real life? That can only happen with green screen technology in editing. Again, that whole thing was complete nonsense. We covered that. It was absolutely a hoax. However, I'm not sitting here saying that this fire was a hoax. I just find it a little bit suspicious because of my thoughts on Chicago and things being pointed at Chicago right now. And as I mentioned, Rahm Emanuel was in Obama's cabinet, decides to quit immediately and go become the mayor of Chicago, Obama's former town that he was, lived in. Just like Rudy Giuliani was the right mayor for the right job on 9/11/2001, and he made the call to pull everybody out of World Trade Center 7 before any buildings had fallen whatsoever. And that is the command center of New York City during an emergency. Nope, let's pull everybody out. We're going to have a makeshift command center down on the corner of whatever avenue and whatever street. This story was told by a black man that was, I can't think of his name, it was like a 25-year career, spent there in the maintenance department. He was where he was supposed to be that morning, and he said, I got there. There were still steaming coffees, half-eaten sandwiches. Nobody was in the whole office, command center. So he calls his boss. Oh, we're down here in the corner. We've got a makeshift command center. Get down here right away. He thought that was strange. Well, I try to go down there. The floors blow out from the. I think he said the elevators weren't working, and the floors blew out on the staircase, and they had to wait for fire department to come up there and help them to get out. This is before any plane, or not necessarily any plane, but before the buildings came down. The Twin Towers had been hit. Nothing came down. Why are floors blowing up in World Trade Center 7, which is like a block away? That remains a little mystery now, doesn't it? However, key person, the mayor, called the shots. And we have another key person, Rahm Emanuel, I got a sneaky suspicion, is going to be calling some shots in Chicago. Let me get to the stories before, so that I can lay out all of my thoughts on why I've been saying and thinking that the club, the elite club, plan on attacking Chicago. Breaking news, November 20th, 2 days ago. Chicago. Now, I want you to listen to how absurd this is. If you're a terrorist, and you just snuck in to a place that you didn't want anyone knowing you've snuck into the country in this particular region, let me know if you think, would you do this? Chicago men claiming to be ISIS threaten pedestrians. Chicago. Police in Chicago are looking for 4 men who approached people on the street yelling, quote, "We are ISIS and we will kill you," end quote. Police said the men had beards and were wearing red scarves. They were traveling in a white van. Officers tried to pull the men over after witnesses called them, but the van sped off. After what happened in Paris last Friday, people in Chicago are on edge. Quote, "It's a very scary and everything that happened. And Chicago's not immune from this kind of threat," resident Erica Perez said. Chicago police said they don't consider the incident a serious threat. And most telling, an FBI spokesperson said they were aware of the situation. Oh, I'm sure you were aware of the situation. Just like you FBI were aware of the situation in New York City in 93, I believe, when the terrorist in the white van drove a bomb into the basement of the World Trade Towers and blew it off. And the bomb was given to him by the FBI informant. And according to former FBI chief regional chief, who's now dead as of 2011, Ted Gunderson, he said regarding that case, we, as in the FBI, gave him the bomb, and while we're going over the the exercise of how we're going to do this and nab him, he said, okay, we're going to hand him a bomb, and then he's going to take the bomb and get in the... Someone says, well, hold on, he's getting the fake bomb. He's going to get the one that doesn't work, the disabled, the fake one. No, we're going to give him a real one. But not to worry, we will nab him immediately before he can get to the van and go anywhere. He got to the van, started up, drove where he needed to drive, was able to get into the parking garage, walk away from the van, whatever, and set it off. Oops. But that didn't make mainstream news. But the chief regional officer of the FBI, Ted Gunderson, said on video, I've seen it, in his own interview, exactly what I just told you. So when I hear an FBI spokesperson said that they were aware of the situation, you can bet your sweet butt that they're aware of the situation. And that the incident is not considered a serious threat. Well, that's because they know all about it. Who do you think made it happen? And officers tried to pull the men over after a witness called them, after witnesses called them, but the van sped off. Couldn't catch them. Knowing what just happened in Paris with the terrorism, police departments across this country are on high alert. And if witnesses say anything to any police officer, there's some guy just said something about he was with ISIS, he's going to kill us. It would be the equivalent of a massive bank robbery taking place. Let's get these guys, all police officers, go over here, close the city down, block the streets off. Nope. The van sped away, couldn't catch him. If you're an ISIS terrorist, are you going to go to the area in which, again, I'm thinking they're going to attack it, and notify, we are here from ISIS. Attention, all white American moron sheep. We are here from ISIS. Hear he, hear he. ISIS is in the building, and we are here to kill you. Who the hell would do this? Who the hell would do this in their right mind? A terrorist would do such a stupid thing? And notify everyone? We're in Chicago. Oh, the same Chicago old J. Step 4 keeps telling us about to keep an eye out for, because everything he's studying is pointing to the elite, the FBI, the CIA, the club, going to attack that city and blame it on a damn terrorist. And then I said, oh my God, just days ago after the Paris attack, Rahm Emanuel in the city council, he even gave a speech in front of a podium. We've decided to become a sanctuary city for these refugees. The city of Chicago is? And we're opening the doors for them to come in, but we also want to become a sanctuary city. I bet you do, Rahm. Buddy old pal, I bet you do. And as I said when I saw that, guys, here's another check mark in my theory. Because they're going to say, oh, well, they must have snuck in when Rahm and the city council let these poor innocent refugees in. They must have came in as a disguise. Oh, and then they'll refer back to this news. Yeah, remember on November 20th, there was 4 men and 2 of them came out shouting that they were ISIS and they were here to kill people, but they got away and wasn't a serious threat, apparently. Oh, really? So let's back up. Why do I even think that the club, the banker club, the ruling class, want to attack the city of Chicago? Let me start over, because I'm going to keep saying this, and I don't care if you heard me say it 400 times now. I always get new subscribers, and new subscribers may not know this, so I need to tell it in full. And it might be a tiny bit important if this shit happens in real life. Just want to throw that out there. Why do I think Chicago? Well, a very well-known hacker who goes by the little name Guccifer, Romanian hacker, has hacked into Colin Powell's email, George Bush, the Bush family, he says, the Clinton family, the Rockefeller family, and many other individuals. And he says, using occult stuff that I know these people are into, I'm able to guess their passwords, and it was actually way easier than I thought. He says this in an interview. That's how he said. That's all I did. I just guessed their passwords, and it worked. And he's now doing 7 years in a Romanian prison for hacking a local politician who was tied to potential affair with Colin Powell, by the way. So he says, when I as in him, when he hacked these people, he found information that there will be an attack in America, terror attack, in the year 2015. Again, this was 2014 that this happened. There will be a terrorist attack in America in 2015. Because of these people, they'll be doing it. They know all about it. That's his statement. And he said it'll either be in Pennsylvania, an unknown city in Pennsylvania, or Chicago. And I heard that and said, oh, man. No, he didn't just say that. That's important. Why do I think, besides that, why they want to hit Chicago? What is in Chicago of importance? These banker clubs members, they destroy evidence that is against them. On 9/11/2001, World Trade Center 7, the one I spoke of earlier, why did they even evacuate the building? It wasn't hit by a plane, right? Yet it came down, just like World Trade Center 1 and 2 did, at 5:20 p.m. in a nice, perfect pile straight down. Nothing stopping it, no pancaking, just straight down. I found out that major financial investigations that would put these bastards behind bars forever were being stored there, including Enron, WorldCom, I think even Iran-Contra scandal. I mean, all kinds of stuff. What the investigative material was stored in Building 7. And it went down that day. And guess what happened when that building goes down? All the evidence with it goes down. And that's why no further investigations can be done on any of the banker club members anymore. Got wiped away. So, going with that thought, that's how they work. They've already shown it. What else in the world, in this country, has an interesting place that they would be very interested in destroying? Well, during all these years of my own research into this type of stuff, in finance and bankers and bailouts and all the whole 9 yards, and terror events, they all seem to tie together, I've discovered. And it appears that these people know exactly when they're going to happen, and they even make them happen. So, I've noticed they've been rigging the price of all commodities. Gold, silver, platinum, copper, wheat, corn, energy, oil. It's all set. The price is all set on the COMEX every day. Monday through Friday anyways. And the way the COMEX works is you go online and buy a little piece of paper called a futures contract. I want to buy a futures contract for gold today. It's 100 ounces of gold is what the contract costs. So, just for easy math, if the price of gold is $1,000 times 100 ounces, that's $100,000 to get that contract. Well, no, it's not. They let you come up with 10%. They let you come up with margin, just a margin fraction of it. 10% of the money, you can play the game. Oh, so I only have to come up with $10,000 to play with 100 ounces? As if it's mine? That's correct. And if the price goes up a little bit, it's as if your 100 ounces went up a little bit. So then you can sell this paper contract and take the profit. Now you're out of the position. You're good to go. You got some extra money in your account. Maybe I'll buy another contract. Price got hit a little bit low. Okay, I'm going to buy in now. If the price goes up $10, oh, I'm going to make a killing real quick. Sell the paper. The problem is, currently, and this has broken all records in all of history of the COMEX market, there are 300 of these little, and this is a fake piece of paper, there are 300 of these pieces of paper for every 100 ounce silver contract that should be tied to it. In reality, if I have a paper contract that says I'm playing with 100 ounces, then damn it, there has to be 100 ounces of gold there and only for my contract. Someone else can't say, well, I've got a contract and I want yours. No, yours has your own 100 ounces. And the reality is right now, based off of the numbers that come from this system, there are approximately 300 of these, which means there should be 100 ounces for every one of these. But there's only one thing of 100 ounces for 300 of these. That's how insane it's gotten. So the club's in trouble. We can't show our hand that we don't have the damn gold or silver for these contracts. We're not going to default on the comment. We're not going to default on a delivery that someone requests. And by the way, December is a huge delivery month historically for precious metals like gold. It's one of the biggest months for gold. And they call it a delivery month, meaning everyone who plays this stupid paper game for 10% of what it really costs, trying to sell the paper, buy it low, sell it again. You're never asking for the 100 ounces. Because if you do, then you got to come up with the whole 100% of the fee. Well, I don't want to do that. I would rather play the game at 10%, come up with $10,000 instead of $100,000. But there are people and companies and businesses out there for whatever reason that like to get that full amount of gold in certain months throughout the year. One being December is a big month for them to quote unquote demand delivery. I know I have 10% in the account, but I want to buy the account out. So here's the other 90%. It is now fully funded. Give me the 100 ounces that I own. You remember that story I just told you? 300 of these, there's only one 100 ounce thing of gold waiting on it. So if one person demands delivery, it's the equivalent of 299 other people not able to demand delivery because it's not there. But historically, less than maybe 1%, 1%, less than that probably, actually ever demand delivery versus how many of these contracts are out there. So if you're the club, you can print a crap load of these because no one ever demands delivery hardly. And the tiny few that do, we can put those little fires out here and they're no problem. But we've been watching the vault numbers and they're terrible. They're on fumes. According to all the big banker vaults that handle the COMEX gold and silver, they are on fumes. And then, again, 2 years ago, I mentioned this the other day, approximately 2 years ago, a funny little note got attached, a little disclaimer, to the COT report, which is the report we look at to see how much gold was where and how much transferred here, eligible column, deliverable column, or whatever, whatever. And we're noticing, there's a little disclaimer. The source that provided this information is believed to be true, inaccurate. We take no responsibility if they're not. In so many words. New disclaimer: the information we're reporting to you is believed to be true by a source that you may or may not be able to trust, and if you don't, and it turns out that they were in fact untrustworthy, you can't hold us you can't hold us, as the one at fault here. That's what this thing is essentially saying. They added that a couple years ago. I wonder why they did that. Because the day's going to come when, believed to have been true was wrong after all. It's wrong. And what they told you in all these numbers never happened. So again, if they can destroy this Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is the COMEX market, it's a privately owned company, not government. Guess who owns it? The Banker Club. And if they destroy it and attack a important tower like the Willis Tower, also formerly known as the Sears Tower, to make a big impact on the world, there goes their fraud. There goes any investigation. There goes any proof that you might have tried to gather to say, hey, you claim you have all these paper contracts. You don't have them. You don't have the gold. We demand delivery and you can't give it to us. They're going to say, well, we can't because the terrorist attack happened. So what happens? Here's a refund. You get no gold, you get no silver. Here's just a refund on your contract. If you're lucky. If they do you like they did Gerald Celente, MF Global did Gerald Celente, and many others, they'll just take your money out of your allocated account, which is your private personal account, to play that game, and go give it to JP Morgan or one of their banker buddies, and then you got to sue them to get your money back out of an account that is supposedly allocated, which means non-touchable by anybody but you. And they touched his. And a whole lot of other people. He did get, I don't know if he got all back. I never did hear what he said, but he apparently got something back. Was it the full amount? I don't know. And nor did he know the broker he was using actually went through MF Global to do the bidding, to do his, transactions in these markets. He found that out after the fact. So the club, if they get rid of the CME group, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, there goes the same type of cover-up that we had on 9/11, which is the same thing as them destroying the evidence, except this time there aren't investigations being stored to the CME group. They're simply getting rid of the evidence immediately so that you can't go and pull it later. That's my theory. And then I read this crap today, and here's another piece of the news from it. SWAT teams flood the streets of Chicago after this happens. SWAT teams are searching all of Chicago after 2 ISIS members were identified. 2 bearded men shouted out from a white van that they are ISIS and threatened the city. The suspects were able to get away from police. All of Chicago is in fear. Some people are temporarily moving out of the city. If ISIS' intent is to rattle America, it's working. This is ISIS's first real move in America after the Paris attacks. Although it was just a threat, it's impossible to tell when they will actually strike. The only thing we can do is eliminate them before they eliminate us. Do you think Obama should be replaced with someone who can handle ISIS? Everything you read, you hear, you see that comes from any news source is propaganda. You know the old theory you were growing up thinking, oh, everybody in this country, because this is a free country, is innocent till proven guilty. You have to reverse that mentality, because you can already see it. People these days are guilty till proven innocent. So you too need to reverse your thinking. Anything I hear from the government's mouth or the mainstream media propagandists is wrong until proven true. You are lying to me until proven true that what you're saying is true. That's where my mindset goes automatically. It's been that way for a while now. I don't care what I just saw. I don't care what they just said. Instant reaction, you're lying to me. Now I'm going to go do my due diligence and do my research and find out if what you said is true. And if it is, then okay, that one was true. Funny enough, these big stories on the mainstream media hadn't found one yet in any kind of recent history in which they were telling the truth. It was always propaganda, always a lie. And again, one more thing I'll add to this. I did a video the other day. Fox News is Megyn Kelly. Tough shot. You know, gonna talk to this guy. This dude is white and as pale as they come. Overweight. Headline under him. Who's this guy? I've never seen him before. Former Al Qaeda turned CIA double agent. Former Al Qaeda turned CIA double agent. This whiter than white guy could go over there and they would accept him in. Right. And he changed his mind. I'm done killing Americans. I want to join you guys, CIA especially, and I'll go work as a double agent. How's that sound? Yeah, sounds good. That's the story we were given. Fox News, Megyn Kelly, just a few days ago. And his threat to America through his sources. Not him, of course. No, not him. I expect, he says, America to be hit within 2 weeks. I expect America to be hit within 2 weeks. You don't say. This CIA shill said so. Now again, what he's saying is a lie until proven truth. Now, the truth part is he might be right on the America getting hit here in the near future because they're going to do it. The rest of the story, I'm a former Al Qaeda guy and I switched teams and I'm now a double agent. That is absolute, complete, utter nonsense. And I gotta be honest. Whoever's writing this, whoever's in charge of that propaganda machine, should have been fired and waterboarded, tortured, just for his nonsense that he's putting out and expecting us to believe. Former fat slob American turned Al Qaeda, turned back American, double agent for the CIA, helping figure this out. And he's on Fox. We got him in the studio today. You can bet your sweet butt you got him in the studio. He's supposed to be there. It's part of the propaganda. And at one point, and he's trying to show you that all Muslims are evil. And this text of Muhammad says we can attack women, children, and even babies. He's showing you in the book. For the cause. And Megyn Kelly, hold on, is this radicalized Muslim Islam? Oh no, this is just Islam. So this isn't radicalized. No, just Islam, he says. And she says something else and then kind of As she asked him, I rewinded it to show everybody in the video. Watch her smirk, her little smile, as she goes on to the next piece. Now, either this is a serious, we shall be scared, there's things going on, or she's having fun and can smile and smirk during something that should be an extremely serious conversation. Where else did we see someone smiling and smirking? Give you a little hint. Give you a little hint. What is the name of that file real quick? I always have this on my desktop. Let me switch off of this. Got to show it. Got to show it. That was TX. Now, who is this young lady? Where have we seen her before? Where have we seen her? Former classmate of Adam Lanza, which would have been the Sandy Hook shootings in 2012, December. Former classmate of Adam Lanza, exclusive propaganda, CNN. We got her in the studio, right? There she is. Smiling, happy to talk about him. Below, there she is again. 2 years later, Katie Foley is her new name, on the Katie Couric show, asking about beheaded brother James Foley, who I watched the video of the ISIS beheading, cut his neck 6-7 times, nothing happens, special effects fade to black on the screen. The next guy they beheaded, same thing, 5, 6, 7, nothing happens, fade to black. There's your terror. It was staged. What did the Russians say? Oh, we hacked into John McCain's staffer's laptop when they were over here in Ukraine. Look what we got off there. And they show the studio. They show the studio and the guy, Jihadi John, practicing, and the guy is in the corner with his camera phone or whatever he's filming with, out of sight, and I don't blame him, filming and letting everyone see this fraud taking place. What did John McCain say? Our enemies in Russia are staging this because they don't like us and are trying to make us look bad. Yeah, some random kids or men or young men or whatever in Russia that did the hacking, it wasn't the government, decided to go buy tens of thousands of dollars in camera equipment, a stage, green screen, the lighting, the effects, different camera angles, to make us look bad. That's almost as absurd as they hate us because of our freedoms. There it is in your face. That's why I think this. Take care.